Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. I know that you guys sometimes like when I talk about esoteric collecting categories or developments in the antiques and collectibles trade. So this is just a little fun video that I'm going to do where we're going to talk about a wonderful T-Rex fossil by the name of Stan that's coming up for auction on October 6th of this year, October 6, 2020, and it's expected to fetch between $6 to $8 million. So if anybody's watching out there who has an extra $6 to $8 million lying around, you can get yourself a T-Rex fossil by the name of Stan. So there is an article here that was done by CNBC that was published on September 16th, 2020 of this year. I do want to put a link to the actual article in the video description below and give credit to CNBC and also their author, Robert Frank, who did do due diligence on this particular piece. And I'm going to go through and just pull out the highlights and give you my thoughts. So for the uninitiated, a 67 million year old T-Rex specimen by the name of Stan, that's very important, he does have a name, will be auctioned off by Christie's in New York City on October 6th, and it will be on display in the windows of Christie's Rockefeller Center starting Wednesday. So pretty much sometime this week, if you visit New York City and you walk by Christie's, you're going to see Stan on display in all of his glory. Now, what makes Stan unique is that he is one of the most famous T-Rex fossils and one of only about 50 ever discovered, with most displayed in museums. Now, before we go any further, I just got to add my commentary here. I consider that a very good thing because there's a lot of people that consider auctions like this to be somewhat controversial. Because there's so few full dinosaur fossils out there in the wild, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people think that these particular artifacts should be made available for public museums only because it's a good way to educate the public about these creatures that existed on Earth literally 50, 60, 70 million years ago. Now, in my opinion, I have no problem with an item like this coming up for bid because there are other T-Rex fossils out there on display in other museums. The fossil has been on display for years at the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research in South Dakota. For those unaware of the geography, or I should say geology, of the United States, most dinosaur fossils end up being discovered in the Midwest. I don't know what it is about that region. Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a paleontologist, but for some weird reason, that's where most dinosaur fossils are found, if they are found in the United States. Now, when we study other antiquity-related artifacts, like Native American artifacts, usually they're found throughout the United States. So fossils obviously being extremely older, especially when we're talking about dinosaurs and other creatures that lived tens upon tens of millions of years ago, these particular items are much more rare than even Native American artifacts that also are esoteric in the antiques and collectibles trade right now, but do have a lot of collectability. I am going to be doing a upcoming video where I show you guys some of my Native American artifacts that were graded by the Indian Artifact Grading Authority. Believe it or not, there is a company out there that grades and authenticates Native American artifacts. And I am going to be doing a whole video devoted to that, just to open your eyes to that fascinating hobby and give you my thoughts from both a collecting standpoint and an investing standpoint. So that will be an interesting video when I get it finalized. Going back to this, Christie's did state that this particular item literally is 40 foot long. So whoever buys this item for $6 to $8 million is going to have a very large facility to either display or store this item in. Christie's also goes on to state, and I thought this was very funny, and I just want to read this. Whoever buys Stan, the T-Rex fossil, will get all 188 bones and the elaborate support structure, but assembly is required. So those of you out there that struggle with 3,000-piece Lego sets, if you got an extra $6 to $8 million lying around, this probably isn't for you, because I don't know about you, but I don't have the patience to put together 188 bones with an elaborate support structure that doesn't come with an instruction manual. So this is not something that I would be bidding on, even if I could afford to buy it. Now, the type of person that's most likely going to buy this probably already has a net worth of well over $500 million. Even if you had a net worth of $50 million, most high-profile collectors and investors out there would not be comfortable tying up $6 to $8 million in one particular item that they're quote-unquote investing in the antiques and collectibles trade. So it bears repeating. The average person that is going to buy this type of item already has a net worth well over, in most cases, of $100 million or more. Possibly a billionaire will most likely bid on this. This is the same core group of people that would be going after high-end pieces of art. Like if you see a painting that sells for $10, $50, $100 million, this is the same caliber connoisseur or investor who is going to be going after this piece. So I just thought it would be interesting to open your guys' eyes to what's going on in the higher end aspect of the antiques and collectibles trade. For the record, this falls under antiquities. If you're wondering, antiquities covers any type of artifact or item that generally is thousands of years of age or older. So with this being 67 million years old, obviously it fits into the antiquity side of the antiques and collectibles trade. So I hope this video has been informative. Again, I would encourage you to click on the link, read the article, at least know that this type of market does exist for the very high-end individual who has the space and the understanding of buying something like this and putting it on display. It'll be very interesting on October 6th to see what this item actually sells for. I'll be curious to see if it does get anywhere near the $6 to $8 million estimate. To be fair, I can pretty much state it at least will go for more than $5 million in my analysis. Other pieces that have come up for bid similar to this have already soared past $5 million in the past. So it's not uncommon to see something like this come up for bid and sell for a $6 to $8 million sum, especially with Christie's handling this particular sale. Another quick thing I do want to add, Christie's is really getting involved, along with Sotheby's, on the high-end side of the antiques and collectibles trade. They seem to have pulled away from taking on individual collections, low-value collections, even items that to you and I would probably seem like a lot of money, like $250,000 comic books or even $500,000 coins. It seems to be that Christie's and Sotheby's at present time, they're going after the high-end multi-million-dollar pieces, whether it's rare artifacts, historical artifacts, or pieces of art that sell for $10 million or more. It seems to be that that's the market that both those auction houses are pretty much involved in at present time. So this is an interesting development. I'm curious to see your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.